Welcome and hello to our presentation. We are going to be talking about 2020 trends and home. This is provided by Color Insights through Lorama Group. All right then, so leading us into color trends. Trends are influenced by many factors across industries, but interestingly enough, the influence is often overlaps to reveal a distinct direction that trends are moving towards. As this awareness develops, individuals such as trend forecasters, consultants, assist in identifying the path and why a particular color or colors are the top pick for the year. Such trends may change the way we think about a particular color or how we purchase consumer goods. In short, we constantly communicate via the medium of color. Color trends of the last century tell us a lot more than simply the most popular hues of the moment. They tell us about who we were as a culture and how we've evolved, including our values, historical priorities, and general sensibilities. So if we were to look back between the years of 2015 to 2019, we can get a scope of what our future looks like. 2015 consisted of comfort found in nature, treasuring pieces of earth and their flaws. It's about the global mosaic while celebrating individuality. Key phrases like learn from nature, written by time, greater good, and global nomads were particularly notable for the time. While in 2016, it was about power and optimism, finding the real versus fake and accepting oneself. Such keywords as empowerment, true, natural connections, and mindfulness were important to this time. While in 2017, we were about community and retribing, bringing forward the consciousness and accountability of belonging and feeling like the struggle of a generationless society. In 2018, we experienced the intersection of humanity, the trust culture, and the questioning of everything. Such words like chaos, take action, impact change, and positive risks are very important throughout 2018. Lastly, 2019 was about being action-oriented and informed. There is an inner shift to self-educate and find the joy of living. Keywords like hive mind, rethinking, connection, and reflection, as well as authentic moments, are very important. So with all those in mind, now that we've looked behind, we can more clearly understand where we're going from here on. Starting us off with red Jasper, selected as North America's key color for 2020. This hue is comprised of all things that ground us. Not only our basic needs, such as food, water, shelter, but our emotional needs, such as the need to be heard and find our truth. So important keywords for this trend would be self-truth, human connections, warmth, and being heard. You can see that reflection in the color palette we've chosen under the umbrella image. We have very warm mustards, browns, and even tans to pair with our red Jasper hue. Which then leads us into Lucky Chance. This brilliant orange that bounces with positive energy as we embark on a new lunar year. It's a perfect time to reset and rediscover as Asia's key color for 2020. So heritage, hybrid, and sustainability are very key to this as we reflect back on the butterfly imagery with the green of the flora and that kind of hybrid purple peeking in with the flowers, that merger of red and blue. Which then leads us into Europe's key color for 2020, Smoky Chimney. This color embodies classical and traditional values, but is not just another gray. Of course, there's a lot of security in painting everything shades of gray, which has been very apparent over the last decade. But fear not, gray takes on a new life as the role in neutral color evolves in the coming decade. Keywords such as traditional values, raw, feeling real, and uglyful. In this image we have here, we have, although a cloudy day, it might not be perfect sunshine, it's still beautiful in its own way, so it is uglyful. Island House is South America's key color for 2020. It's a simple yet fascinating hue. This decade beckons us to new perspectives and that shift for green. Unlike jungle or jewel tone colors, which punctuated 2019 and shouted green, this hue is actually going to whisper into 2020 and your home. So for this imagery we have here, we have this kind of mysterious repurpose of plants and fauna. So we're going to be looking at that shift and evolution and how those new things will bloom. Sun-washed yellow is Africa's key color for 2020. It is a restorative hue, standing quietly apart from the bold mustard and ochre colors of 2019. This decade is bringing a maturation of yellows, revealing a much more subtle and mellow side to the hue. What we're looking at for themes on this region are the barefoot luxury, being distinctive, and the fusion quality. We see that with that punchy, lucky chance orange merging with the green, but also being balanced out with sun-washed yellow. So these are all the colors that we've discussed. Of course, our key colors: red jasper, sun-washed yellow, island house, smoky chimney, and lucky chance, and the colors that we think pair well with them. We have an interesting mix of greens. Of course, as usual, the trend leans towards sustainable, but we are trying to be more punchy with those unique oranges and purples. Colors in the home, inspiration behind these colors and where they're going to be trending. So we often find it's about stage, not age, as far as markets and consumers nowadays. People are approaching life at different times or meeting certain goal points, whether they're young or old. So let's say in a case for your living room, you've made the decision to invest in good furniture and you want to make that the focal point of a room. So for this goal, we have the focal point to be the couch, and we want to have a modern and sophisticated feel to the space. So our suggestion for living rooms in 2020 would be smoky chimney. Why? Because gray walls make your room feel more spacious, elegant, and serene. A gray room suits modernist decor as well as vintage ensembles. So if you like to experiment with pops of color or conversation pieces like this velvet emerald green couch, you can have that gray living room walls providing a nice backdrop for your artistry. And of course, gray is a popular neutral color for any room in the house, but it looks particularly sophisticated in a living room, among being the most popular living room colors. Dining rooms. In this case, we have an example where it's actually rather tight space. There is some nice natural light leaning in, but what we want to do is make this space not feel too overwhelming, but giving it a lively and a harmonious scheme. So our suggested solution would be using red jasper selectively as an accent wall. So red promotes liveliness and social interaction, as well as keeping the mood cheerful and upbeat. It's also believed to increase appetite, going into that color psychology. which is why Spanish restaurants are huge fans of deep red colors in their interiors. You don't have to pick a bright red. Maroons or wine reds are great to create an elegant dining atmosphere, such as red Jasper. So for our bedroom, we're looking to create separation. A lot of times people are having multi-purpose spaces. So your bedroom now becomes your vanity space and perhaps even your office in current circumstances. But right now we're focusing on trying to create a separation between the bed and vanity. It's something that feels uplifting to wake up to. So our suggestion would be using sun-washed yellow as an accent for that wall. And yellow in general promotes happiness while subconsciously waking us up. It also makes a room feel spacious and is associated with sunny and cheerful days spent outdoors. Pairing this muted yellow wall with white highlights and fresh plants gives it the ultimate outdoors brought indoors feel. So let's see, in an office space, we're looking to create dynamic and a motivating work environment. So perhaps you're not going to go with your standard flat swatch of color. You might look for something a little more abstract. So our suggestion would be to use Lucky Chance and pair it with other contrasting colors, but balancing it well. So orange, of course, will help you keep alert as you work, and is often associated with stability, warmth, comfort, and coziness. It's great for creating an atmosphere of hospitality and general comfort for everyone. You can balance out the orange by adding contrasting blue hues or white, which we see here. For our bathroom, we have very blank walls, white tile, very clean, but a little sterile looking. So our goal is to emphasize the tiles against the walls while also fitting into an organic, soothing atmosphere. We've already achieved that a little with some of the plants, so let's just bring it up a notch. Our solution would be to decorate the green. It gives you the feeling of bringing the outdoors in. It's a very calming color that helps bring a cooling effect to a very bright and sunny room. And although this room may not have natural light, it's got a lot of white light. This shade also mixes well with other earthy tones inspired by nature like brown, taupe, sand, as well as sage. This hue also helps create a more earthy and organic feel, which is what we were trying to achieve in this space. Ultimately, no matter the mood you are trying to achieve, color plays an important role in each setting. So don't be afraid to incorporate color in your home. And through Colorful, you're able to achieve this quest for finding the right color easier. Now it's time to take your pick. On Color Insight Story, this template will be able to be found. We encourage each of you to fill it out and share what your inputs are. Be sure to follow and have a chance to be featured or opt-in for future webinars. So, for example, you would circle which color you would associate with happy and maybe say which space you would like to see it in. So, for example, here we have Sunset Dream in the kitchen for a happy feel. Calming Thoughts for a relaxed bedroom, and then Enticing as Spring in a living room to feel playful. This now leads us into our future webinar that will be available to everyone. When global events happen, how do they change our social landscape? How does color preferences change? And how can we be prepared? So for example, during World War II, we saw maturation of colors. Things were more grays and neutral because there was a limitation on what fabrics were being received, as well as rationing. But there were some luxuries still allotted, like lipstick. So famously, Victory Red and Fighting Red in the United States to help show their support for truth. So although you had a neutral palette, you had this big pop of red as well. And even more recently, L'Oreal has done research and has identified that during economic downturns, purchasing of lipstick spikes as individuals substitute large purchases with small luxuries. So we will be discussing those topics and more in depth through the Changing Landscape webinar. All righty then, well, I believe that will conclude our presentation for the day. Thank you everyone for attending. I hope you got to gather interesting color insights from what we had to present today. If you have any further questions about support or subscription offerings, please email marketing@lorama.com or visit us at colorinsights.com.